Welcome back to SwitchCorner. Today we're taking a look at Catherine full body on the Nintendo Switch. I want to give a huge shout out here to Sega for giving me the code to get this review out for you. If you told me like 9 years ago Sega would be giving me a code for Catherine, I probably would have just laughed in your face. So that really is my way of just saying thank you to you all. Without your support, the channel just wouldn't be at this point, and it is just absolutely crazy to me. With that though, like, if you are new here, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here in this community. Join our growing family and let's get started. So story on Catherine full body, just to give you an idea, was essentially an expansion on the original game that went by just Catherine. It brought that same story along, but then it added in an additional story arc, a new female interest, along with a whole lot of DLC. Here though, you're going to be taking on the role of Vincent, a man who's been in a serious relationship for some time now with a lady by the name of Catherine. Important point here, that's Catherine with a K. As life has its way, things are ramping up with the idea of, marriage and babies, and he can't keep up in a, I would say, kind of stereotypical male way. Things here escalate as you panic and you chat to your friends at the bar you frequent. In this game it's known as the Stray Sheep, and before you know it you'll be awakening next to a different Catherine, the title Catherine this time, the Catherine with the C at the beginning. Panic, self-reflection, guilt, and a whole dose of confusion follow. And surely that would honestly be enough torture for our character, but not in this world, not in an Atlas game. Instead, you are thrust into nightmares, which will dive basically into your personal history, what's going to happen next. And in these nightmares, death is very much a real consequence. Alongside the main plot point then, we also see that introduction of Reen. She's the third character. Her story is a little bit more light-hearted. For the most part, its tone, it does, I will say, fit in, but they could have definitely done with padding it out a bit more at the beginning. But overall, look, after multiple playthroughs over the years, I still really enjoyed the story. And if you do like the idea of replaying something, it's worth knowing Full Body contains 13 endings, so there's more than enough reasons here to come back and play over and over again. So gameplay then is really split into 3 areas, and let's start with the main piece for this one, the puzzles. This is of course the bulk of the gameplay, and it occurs overnight when you're asleep. These are the nightmare sections. Like any puzzler, the concept itself is very simple. Basically, move blocks and climb to the top of a tower. That said though, like any good puzzle title, simple does not mean easy. So as you progress, first of all, different blocks will have different effects, like those that don't move, those that crumble from beneath you, ice that will cause you to slip, springs that will send you flying into the air, even monster blocks that will try to eat you as you hang from the side, or those with spikes in the bottom, they're out to cause a whole lot of destruction. Then to complicate matters further, sheep will actually start to inhabit these stages and attack you. These are actually essentially other people, other souls that, like you, they are guilty and have found themselves in this nightmare. Weird, I know, but it is something Catherine is now known for, as you run around hugging your pillow and boxers and trying to avoid and kick these sheep out of the way. These levels then eventually do include bosses too. They will be smashing away the blocks below you. Go too slow and you can expect to be dropping to your death, getting crushed, or maybe even eaten. Reach the top though and it's on to that next stage. If there's one thing Catherine has always nailed, for me it's the ramping difficulty, and Full Body is no different. It introduces new challenges at just the right pace, never feeling too slow or uneventful. As you progress though, also expect to receive power-ups like a Bible that weirdly dispels of your enemies, or a drink which allows you to jump 2 blocks high. Catherine is very much that balancing act of translating, is it worth going for that next item, or should you just try and progress without it? In between these puzzles then, you'll also be answering questions that impact a, let's say, angel and devil meter, or good and bad meter, and these will go towards the ending you receive. So think questions like, is it okay to have secrets from your partner, or would you tell a partner about your past? These are not only in keeping with the tone of the game, but actually provide for some, I will say, interesting moments, because after each answer you're going to see how everyone else playing answered this question, along with a survey conducted between men and women separately. These questions actually also can lead to a third path, which will basically implement Rin's storyline too. These questions, they actually take place as well in like a confessional booth in a hub world, and you can actually interact with other sheep in this area. They will tell you, like, you know, different plot points maybe, or even give you tips and strategies of what may be coming up next. So outside of the puzzling, then we also get a whole lot of anime to watch, and then the nights at the bar. At the bar you can basically interact with friends, find some DLC sheep glasses. Yep, DLC sheep glasses. They make everyone appear in their underwear, they're X-ray powered, and then you can also respond to text messages on your phone. This is also a place that you may want to visit to retry past levels if you want to, you know, go for a high score, or maybe you want to go for that new record, because each level has a gold, silver and bronze medal attached for completionists. While these sections are mainly optional, I really enjoyed them, and by talking to those around you, you will gain a whole lot of more information to pad out that storyline. If you are then done with single player, well, first, there's a lot of reasons to go back. You've got multiple difficulties and they really do make a difference. So, you know, I'd suggest starting on normal, but definitely giving hard a go. Then though, there's also two modes for story itself. There's the classic mode, which is basically, you know, the style of the original game, but then there's something called remix mode as well, and this just introduces new challenges and abilities. Extra modes wise then, we actually get baaaa-d, we get Colosseum, we get Super Rapunzel, and we get online multiplayer. These are basically all twists on the formula, whether it's, you know, head-to-head races as you climb these towers, or simply going for the longest, like, endless run. These are some fantastic modes though, and all are absolutely worth jumping into, though I would say you experience the single player first. What I like with this though is they've just went above and beyond. There's over 500 levels to work your way through. There's just that, you know, all of these different modes to experiment with, and then all the included DLC. You know, most importantly for me, it's actually Joker from Persona 5 appears as a playable character in every mode but single player. We even get the Persona music, and even though it's more of a visual thing, honestly, it's just amazing that we get to see it. And now if we could get a true Persona game, that would be pretty amazing. Please, Atlas, you know you want to. But anyway, look, overall Catherine on a gameplay front is just content rich, which is always a good thing to see. So graphically speaking then, Catherine is through and through gorgeous to look at, whether it's the anime moments, the 3D cutscenes, or the puzzles themselves. Where Catherine, in my opinion though, really shines is its ability to meld these ideas together and make them work so naturally. While I do feel personally the anime moments come across, I'd say, a little bit washed out now, you know, 9 years later, it's the expressions, the mannerisms of our characters that seem to flow perfectly from these like anime moments to the 3D and back. It just works so well. It's just clear not only a lot of passion went into them, but they were developed in tandem. This is very much an Atlas game through and through, and fans of the style will immediately recognize it, especially the stray sheep bar. That could have been lifted directly from Persona 5, no doubt. Problems with this one, graphically, the only thing I noticed, I will say, was some heavy pixelation on our characters, for instance shadows, especially on the close-up moments. It's a minor thing, but it was a little jarring when you compared it to the rest of the visuals on offer. Catherine on the Switch, I gotta say, look, it looks just as good as any other version out there, and now I have the bonus of a handheld where visually it just translates absolutely perfectly. So audio then, we get a whole lot here, a huge soundtrack that has some absolutely quality moments that match the tone from, you know, the serious to the terrifying to the comical, and then dialogue, talk about options. Sure, we get the English dub, but what's most interesting is actually the original Japanese. That's because not only do we get the original cast, but 12 additional voice actors doing the work. While it adds very little to the game itself and will no doubt kind of be lost on Western audiences, these are actually famous individuals taking part, so it's kind of this cool little toy to experiment with and just listen to the different options. I always ended up going with, you know, the classic voice actress myself, but it's still kind of fun to dig into. Catherine was and is no doubt always going to be a cult classic, and you can see I'm a big fan of this game, honestly. That said, it isn't perfect. Look, Reen is a great addition to this cast, but at times, at the very beginning at least, her plot points could have done with her just a little bit more weight. You can kind of tell she was never originally there, and she's a great character. I want to see more of her, give her more depth. The controls, then, you can make the occasional mistake unintentionally, just as you wrap your head around them. Honestly then, this game, this version especially, it has had its fair share of controversy. I'm not going to go into it, honestly. One, it's spoilers, but it may not be for everyone is basically what I'm saying. I can see why people may get upset in its handling of certain pieces of the tale, but I also believe there's characters here that are saying dumb things and you're not supposed to agree with them because they are just that, the dumb character. Anyways, look, that's an entire video in itself and it's been discussed at length elsewhere, so I'm going to leave that for others to go into. For me, overall, Catherine excelled on release because it was just extremely unique, and that honestly stands still to this day. The creativity on show here is huge, and the world here is just incredible to get lost in, whether it's the comedic moments like the simple conversations at the bar through to, you know, the terror of being chased by something that wants to kill you swiftly. To this day, 10 years later, there's still nothing out there quite like Catherine, and seeing it on a Nintendo console is just incredible. Today I'm giving Catherine full body an amazing 9 out of 10. This is no doubt one of the best puzzle games you will ever play, with a story that will have you engrossed from start to finish. I will always personally find time to go back to the Stray Sheep for a drink and see this really strange cast of characters. Thanks for watching. I want to give a quick shout out here to the patrons of SwitchCorner. Your support has been absolutely incredible and it truly is appreciated. If you would like to check it out for yourself, I'll link it in the video description below. Then again, like, if you're new here, why not head across to the channel and check out some of our other videos, you know, with regular reviews, and we do a lot of like deal breakdowns as well. Videos here now at this point are pretty much nearly on a daily basis. Then finally, why not hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.